A prospect dashboard is a data-driven tool to help you to closely track all your opportunities, rank them according to your own sense of how likely it is that the sale will close, and remove inactive prospects from your high priority list. Active prospects are those who have already agreed to meet with you or are engaged with you in some way in the sales process. It's important to keep them on the dashboard so that you don't miss an opportunity. Inactive prospects are those who don't seem likely to close. They may have your product or service in mind, but they are not ready to buy yet. Or they may not be authorized to buy and are waiting for approval. They may be inactive now, but you'll still need to keep them on your dashboard. Your dashboard is organized into 5 columns: O, FA, 25%, 50%, and 90%. Although these percentage levels are used in this instance, you can assign your own to the prospect.
So at a glance, this is what the prospect dashboard looks like. There are 2 parts to it: the dashboard itself and the help section. Once you intend to make edits, then you need to put in the day's dates. So today is July the 3rd. Great. You should also see the last date that you updated this prospect dashboard, right? You should have that date recorded here as well. On the next row, you will see some useful tips that will help you when making entries or for making your prospecting life more successful. Just click on any one of those colored cells and you'll be taken to the associated links. So let's click on this first one. Here you'll see that this is a link to a sample prospect dashboard. If you click here, you'll be taken to a sample dashboard that gives you a basic layout that you can follow when you're completing your own. If you click here, you'll be able to return to the prospect dashboard. The next cell describes some follow-up tips that you can use. If you click on this one, it takes you to the handy dandy help section that will give you some videos and additional tips when you're trying to follow up on your first meeting, secrets to getting more appointments. It even tells you some of the mistakes that you can make when you're doing your prospecting. On the third cell, you'd see that there's a link to an employee guide. If you click here, you're taken to a file that gives you a JPEG photo of a PDF file. In order to access this PDF that will walk you through how you go about using your prospect dashboard, you right click on the image, then you click on Acrobat Document Object, select Open, and it should take you to your PDF document. There you go. So let's go back to our dashboard. Great. So let's go across and scroll over to our help section. This section includes videos and offers additional guidance for setting up that first meeting and of course for handling some prospecting mistakes. You will also see a list of frequently asked questions, and if you click on any one of these questions, you'll see that there's a corresponding answer to it. So you see a comment box come up. So the question is, what about prospects I've met once but aren't sure if they want to buy? And the answer to that question is anyone that you've had a meeting with but who you honestly feel has a less than 25% chance of closing the sale should be moved back to the old list. And the same thing goes for any of the other questions. So if you click on that question, you'll see the answer pop up. So let's get started by adding prospects to our prospect dashboard. As mentioned earlier, your prospect dashboard is made up of 5 columns: O, FA, 25%, 50%, and 90%. We start at the O column. we want to capture some basic details about the prospect. The dashboard is mainly designed to help you schedule your appointments and help you to categorize those prospects. As you can see, there's a quick tip here that says that if you click on each column heading for a description, so if you click on all, there's a description here, 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 and here. There's also a column that shows you just some basic details about how you can go ahead filling the fields to find out your client contact information. So let's get started at the O column. The people in this column are the persons you haven't met as yet and hope to meet. We suggest that you do some background work and get to know a little bit more about them and their business before you schedule the appointment. So let's go ahead and enter some info. So as you can see here, we already have some persons in our O column, but we'd like to add one more person. In this case, we are going to add Jack Daniels. So we enter Jack's name, his email address, his phone number, the source of the prospect, which in this case is the newspapers, but if you click on this cell, you'll see that there's a drop-down list as in some options that you can choose from. Industry would indicate what type of industry is his business in, and this is also a drop-down list that you can choose from. You'd enter his location, the date of the last contact, and the date that you will have your next contact. And in this case, the activity will be a call. This is also provided from a drop-down list where you can have a call, an email, or a meeting. It may take a few tries and maybe a few calls before you are able to book a face-to-face meeting. But until then, each person in this column stays in this column. So you've just been able to book your first appointment. In this case, it's Phil Collins. He's been on your list for a while now in your O column, and finally you get the chance to meet with him face to face. So we go ahead and enter his contact information. So here in the FA column, which is your first appointment column, you would enter the details as it relates to Mr. Phil Collins. But no matter how excited the person may seem on the other end, or how much you may have in common with them, you cannot move them into the FA column, this column, until you have that first appointment booked. The 25% column is the column you use to place current prospects that you've met with at least once. These persons are the ones you feel won't be closing anytime soon. You've met with them, but things aren't moving along quite that quickly. So the ones who have a less than 25% chance of closing should be moved back to your O list. The 50% column includes your prospects that have at least a 50% chance of closing the sale within the next month or so. These are the folks that are interested, but they have to get management approval, or they have to decide based on a competitive bid. Okay, so we've reached that special group, the 90%ers. You have your best chance of closing the sale with these prospects. But don't move too quickly to put them in this list. Only do so once they've said something like, "Yes, I'd like to go ahead with this," or "How do I go about making payments?" This list will be your shortest list, and once the prospect becomes a customer, they come off the dashboard. It's very important that you refer to your dashboard every day to avoid missing appointments or follow-ups. Make it part of your daily routine and watch your list grow. Your sales will too. Good luck and thank you for watching.